There is something that you need to know. There is a reason why you are in pain. Still. Deep emotional chronic pain. Sometimes people don't even know it's there until a part of their past triggers the thought of their trauma and the pain resumes. Some people walk around with chronic back and neck pain, a pain that started and stuck with them due to the event that occurred at the time of the injury. I've seen a woman who had chronic neck pain for more than 15 years, and it was all rooted in trauma that stemmed from a fight she had with one of her family members. Not a physical fight, mind you. 15 years she had that energy stuck inside her. She tried everything to cure it, and she had no idea why the pain was there. It's almost as if she had forgotten, until a professional did some muscle testing and asked a few questions to get to the root of the issue. It was quite fast. We are not talking months of therapy, we are talking a few minutes. The doctor was able to alleviate her chronic neck pain in a matter of minutes. Now, he did mention in her case that she would still need to do a little bit more work due to the fact that she had been walking around for so long with this energy stuck inside her. So the point is, the reason you have chronic depression, the reason you have chronic anxiety, insecurity, and fear, the reason you are angry and easily triggered. Trust me, I know how it feels to have a quick temper. The difficulty to suppress that anger emotion is high. It's almost as if you can see it coming, but you can't stop it. Like the Incredible Hulk, right? The reason that happens and keeps happening is because you have energy that is stuck inside you. We are going to discuss this, and hopefully after today, many of you will have the knowledge that you can apply to remedy your own issues and change your life forever. Now, I know for some of you these concepts can seem to be a bit esoteric, but what you should understand is that this energy is there. You've witnessed people struggle with it. You've seen them go from doctor to doctor, therapist to no resolve. You can meditate all day if you want, but that energy will still be there because there's a bit more to it than that. You have to understand what the issue is. The real issue, the deep issue, so that you know what tool to use to get rid of it. Let me give you an example of something. Last week, Halloween actually, I took the day off, no work, just energy work really. I was up around 6 a.m. and in the gym at little after 7. I was out by 8. I had a veggie breakfast. It was quite refreshing actually. Then I came home to do some tapping or thought field therapy. There is also emotional field therapy or emotional freedom technique. The question is, does it work? And from my experience with using this in the past and recently, yes, it does. And I'll tell you how I know it works. If I were to ask you to sit there and think about a triggering moment in your life you recently have had, maybe you have had an argument with someone. Maybe you lost something of value. Maybe you opened your mail to find an outstanding bill. Whatever it is, you know that if you start thinking about it, those emotions will start to rise up. And you can actually sit there by yourself with nobody around, and by thinking about triggers, you can create those feels of anger, depression, pain, almost anything, right? When you do this, you now have the opportunity while you are having those emotions to get rid of them. for good. Because remember, that event already happened. So why is it that when you think about that past event, those feelings come back? That is because those emotions are locked in. So while you are in the thought field thinking about that event, you use something like the tapping technique to dissipate that perturbation so that the energy leaves your body. And this is how you know it worked, because later, when you go back to revisit that event in your mind, when you start thinking about that event again, you feel nothing. And it is going to seem strange to you. You're going to wonder why you are not getting those feelings that you have been stuck with for such a long time. So on my day off, I purposely exposed myself to triggers. Things that made me angry, things that made me anxious, things that made me feel pain. I used those triggers and used the techniques. I did some other energy work and meditation. I prayed. I went back to the gym by 3. Stayed for another hour. When I got back home to eat and do more energy work, the triggers I was using before to arouse those emotions, they weren't working anymore. But I still felt something lingering. And see, here's the hard part. Once you figure out what emotion is present, you get rid of the emotion. Let's say it's anger. You feel no more anger. You tapped it out. But little did you realize there was another layer there. Perhaps fear or anxiety underneath. So now you have to tap out those emotions. Some emotions you won't be clear as to what it is. You won't know if it's pain or fear or anger. It will be hard for you to tell, but that means you have peeled back most of the layers and you are just left with time to understand what unidentified emotion is present so that you can tap that out. So after that, I went back to the gym around 7, stayed for another hour, got back home, ate, more meditation and prayer. That night, I didn't sleep. I was too revved up, I guess, at that point. But I certainly slept solid the next night. And the dreams you have are a good indicator. If you have bad dreams or very vivid dreams after doing energy work, that is a sign your body is cleansing out some of the junk. Sometimes after treating yourself, your joints pop or crack. Maybe a little pop in your back or neck or knee because the proper tension is restored to the muscles. See, a lot of you have these emotions suppressed, locked away. Some of you distract yourselves from those emotions, but they will always resurface when the time is wrong. And some of you don't know how to remedy this, so you see professionals. They can't really help you because they are not sure, especially when the problem is an energetic block. This is usually something that people do when nothing else has worked for them. Do you see? So, when you do get rid of that energy finally, something magical happens. Let's say you were triggered by a grocery store clerk that gave you bad customer service. That usually upsets people. You think about that incident and it triggers anger. You tap it out. When you do the technique correctly and actually get rid of that stuck energy, other things that used to bother you don't anymore. It will feel like the strangest thing to you. And you'll think about it. That thing would normally upset me, but now it doesn't for some reason. Because the tapping technique took care of the root issue, which was the stuck energy. That's why all these other things that used to upset you don't anymore, because they were all dependent on that one single perturbation. Biosynchronization is another form of getting rid of these blockages. You want to do this energy work not just for health reasons, but because your vibrational level is going to stay low as long as those energies are present. Chronic physical pain can be dependent on those energies, and the pain will never really leave you as long as the block is there. You can go online right now and look up removing negative energy blocks, and it's meditation, yoga, Reiki, cleanse, detox, crystals, and chakras. Those are things you should do anyway. And you're going to be doing those things forever anyway, because that energy is still going to be there long term. Because a lot of the time, all that stuff does is relieve the symptoms. Because in a few days, a couple of weeks, those emotions are still there. Some people meditate to calm those emotions and suppress them. No, you should be meditating to bring those emotions to the surface so that they can be dealt with properly once and for all. The reason I keep recommending the tapping technique is because it's something that you can use anywhere, at almost any time, and it can be used on other people. When you learn the algorithms for each emotion, when you are caught outside your home feeling a certain way, you can quickly tap out that emotion on the spot. Do you see? And it is a tool that you can keep with you for whenever these matters arise. You don't have to wait for yoga class or until you get home. The technique takes about 2 minutes of time, not even. That energy comes to the surface, you knock it out with the technique. This works on physical pain as well, back pain, neck pain. Look, I know that there are many of you listening to this right now who are going through it. You have something that you have been trying to conquer, and this will help you. It's free. And I'm going to tell you, there's a lot of people out there who have no idea about tapping or biosynchronization. They don't know it exists. You get to have a superpower from learning this stuff, especially when you leave here and go and dig into the information on it. This is great for addictive urges, not just for drugs, but virtually all addictive urges. Maybe you are addicted to porn or social media. You could be addicted to certain food. It works for obsession, for things, and addictions and obsessions for other people. You can tap that energy out. Gone. This won't make you forget completely. To some degree it will, because the emotions attached to the thought have been released. But it will take the negative feelings away from the memory. You use it whenever you have cravings. Anxiety. Anxiety is the number one reason people don't get what they want. It cripples people. It stops them dead in their tracks. There are so many layers to fear, my goodness. But when you catch yourself in this state and are able to instantly apply these techniques, the next time you are in that situation, the fear is gone, my friend. Can you imagine the power you would have when you can walk around and day after day, your fears become less and less? Think of all the things that you could do that you couldn't do before because you were afraid. This technique is good for trauma, shame and embarrassment, guilt. Oh, by the way, speaking of addictive urges and substances, junk food, you have to clean the toxins out and take a break from putting them in, or just don't put them in at all if you can help it, because those toxins are causing you to feel bad as well. And doing this energy work and cleansing is going to make you feel awesome. I have to say, I'm just now starting to get into the habit of using this technique. It is a very strange thing to describe, but it changes everything around you. It is like a reprogramming that you are unaware of until you move your body around, go out to the store, or chat with someone. You will find that your mannerisms may be a bit different. Your appetite may be different. You will notice some changes. If you use the techniques and keep using them, as each day goes by, you find that you have to use it less and less, because you are covering all these different areas of emotions. Something tragic just happened recently, didn't it? If you haven't seen it, go back and watch the video I posted the day before Halloween on biblical text, where I bring this up, and how the spirit activity is high, and that these people love rituals no matter what you think. They are out there doing it right in front of you. and people think it was an accident or something. Oh, and don't worry, there will be more to come. Watch. We are not out of that season yet. Those people who are involved, many of them are going through suffering with all types of emotions right now. And I wish they had this tool. And that is another reason having this technique in your knowledge banks is going to help you get through all the events that are to come. Speaking of which, there is more to come, more things to discuss. Be sure to visit woodwardentertainment.com and the Woodward Entertainment Store. You can follow me on Instagram at jwoodward. And until next time, folks, as always, stay awake, stay aware, stay safe, and I'll talk to you all soon.